Hello everyone and welcome back to the Wicked Weekly. My name is Brian if you happen to be new around here, and in today's video we're going to jump into some of the breaking news that we have, and I hope that you are able to participate over on the Discord, basically a Discord AMA with Thomas. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to give you guys some updates on the co-op, especially just to continue to try and educate players so they know what to kind of expect, so we can keep expectations both realistic but also still be excited for this upcoming update. We'll give an update on my estimate timelines. I think we're actually getting much closer now that we're so close to August. So just note, I'm excited. I think you guys are excited. And then finally, just a couple things I wanted to talk about regarding the channel. Thomas is touching on some of the console war stuff, and just the other day I posted my PlayStation video going over the latest news. I'd like to sit down and kind of talk a little bit about that and some thoughts that I have for the channel going forward. Namely is that my life has gotten a little bit less busy, so I might be able to put out more content. So I'm very excited about y'all's thoughts on all of that. Now, for some reason, I still have my headphones on. So now that I know that the audio is at least working, let's kick this off right. Thomas starts us off answering to a question: is PvP coming with the co-op update? I do not recall. And I just want to say, it is not coming with the PvP update. It will be coming at a later date. And this is something to be excited about for the future. We do not know if it's going to be a milestone update or if they're going to slot it in, but Thomas also just confirms that. He says, nope, PvP is going to need a little bit more time on top. We are going to first launch the co-op multiplayer to make sure that they've properly landed, and then and they'll see how long things take to go after that. Another question, in this case from Jeb, who writes, you probably aren't able to talk about this yet, but how are we going to acquire classes in Wicked? Maybe from a teacher or a vendor, or do we need to unlock it in some way? And Thomas writes, right now, the plan is to do just that through weapons. If you're Wakasha Heizi, and welcome to the channel if you're new, butcher of words in full force. But he goes on to say, you level into ninja class. That seems the smoothest to us. We don't want players having to portal to town again and to just change classes, so we can just automate it, and it makes a lot of sense. In reality, if you train with a certain weapon, you'll learn more about it, and so players can just use whatever weapon they want, and based off of that, they decide their path. Now, the Dredge Knight asks, I imagine there's going to be friendly fire between players in co-op, and if you have to be careful, besides waiting for classes jobs, I'm feeling anxious. And Thomas does confirm, yes, and just we'll keep iterating this. Co-op will have friendly fire. Thomas goes on to say, yep, there is. You'll not be able to just blast through everything. You're going to need to communicate with one another. And for anybody who's played Helldivers 2, it's really such a fun game, and I'm very much excited about it coming to Xbox. We might talk a little bit more about that in the future. If nothing else, we'll be sure to cover it on the podcast. But all that being said is that, yeah, friendly fire, I think, completely changes the game. And I'm wondering if with the custom realms, as that continues to evolve, right now we just have the 3 difficulties, but with custom realms, as that kind of gets ready to roll out, if that will end up being something we can control ourselves. Love to hear your thoughts on that. Do you want to have the ability to turn off friendly fire? Is friendly fire a breaking point for you and this game? Let me know. Generally curious. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. But in today's big news, Chris, aka Kuro, writes this over on Discord. They also officially sent out a tweet, which means they're really trying to gather as many of these questions as possible for a big Q&A. But he goes on to say, you've got questions, Thomas has answers. This Thursday, the one and only Thomas Mahler is going live to answer your biggest questions about No Rest for the Wicked. Drop your questions now, and bonus, we're giving away game keys during the stream, but you gotta be there and be live to win. We might take some ad hoc questions at the end of the stream, but Discord members have a special benefit of being able to ask questions ahead of time, and we'll pick up from the stream itself. How can you ask questions? You can use the new /ask command in Wicked Main to request a question. Wait for a DM that will let you know if your question's been approved or denied. Questions may be denied for various reasons, including being duplicate of one already approved. Approved questions will appear in a new channel called Approved Questions that you can upvote with thumbs up. Important notes, your questions being approved does not guarantee it will be asked. There's a limited time for the stream, which means only a certain number of questions can be picked up, but this may be already a clear answer to certain questions. Questions with more upvotes will have a better chance of being selected. If the stream is successful, We'll likely do more of them in the future, and remaining questions that have a chance being answered them. Hope to see you all there, and best of luck. Now, they do not have yet an official link or a time that they're talking about for this live stream. Hey everyone, Future Brian here, and the team has just tweeted out when this is all going down. Tomorrow, Clarity and Keys, Thomas is going live on Twitch to talk about Wicked and answer questions that you've all been dying to ask. July 31st, 8 p.m. CEST, 7 p.m. BST, 2 p.m. ET, and 11 a.m. PT. So that's going to be 1 p.m. Central Time for those who want to hopefully join me. So hopefully I'll be live for this, but ultimately we'll see. Now, I return to the past, but I'm very excited for that. And hopefully I'll be able to do kind of a live reaction and we can hang out, watch, and discuss the questions and answers that are being shared. In a way, I wonder if we'll start to see, you know, just like with the Wicked Insides, that they might do these more developer deep dive in questions. All in all, I think it's going to be a good fun time, regardless if you hang out with me for it, because I might be stuck at work with meetings, life things. Everybody knows that. You know, so it's like, hopefully you guys are, I'm helping to make you guys aware. And if nothing else, you can go ask some questions to the devs themselves. Now, the other thing I want to kind of pivot this video to, because this is something that's been going on. I covered it in my last video regarding PlayStation, but Thomas has actually weighed in on this discussion before, and which is kind of, in a way, kind of a sweet reward to the drama that kicked off last week with Xbox players being mad at him. It seems like, at least if nothing else, he hits it on all sides. And so we're going to go back in time to March 4th, 2024. And the reason we're talking about this is that he kind of highlighted this amidst all the PlayStation job posting, speculation, drama, and discussion that's happening on the internet. I'm an Italian and I talk with my hands, and welcome to the stream, or welcome to the channel. All right. He goes to say, because making games available to larger audiences is generally a good idea, and Sony will most likely end up doing the same in the coming years anyway, because hey, they like making money. Microsoft is a bit stuck with growing Game Pass, and Sony is a bit stuck with their exclusives having a limited target audience. Sony has already released their games on PC now, and the world didn't end. So why not have Sony and Microsoft actually just open up the floodgates instead of fighting a hardware fight? Just duke it out on who can make the better content while growing the industry substantially. That way, everybody wins, especially the players. You want the industry to grow. You've been stuck at the 50 million or so addressable audiences for a good long while now. Meanwhile, development costs have skyrocketed. Inflation has hit the industry hard. Something's gotta give. Phil is completely right when he says that he understands this stuff better than most of you folks, since he sees the numbers. The industry should grow to 150 to 200 million, and we're not going to get there by making the cost of entry so expensive and that people have to deal with walled off gardens. Consoles should be cheap, ubiquitous, and just offer an insane amount of quality content. Gaming should be everywhere. He's quote tweeting that, which brings the conversation up. He says, remember all the crap that I got while saying that Sony would likely end up going third party as well because of this point? It just makes sense. If you need more common sense and industry advice, just say the word. Now, for me, this is something that I've long, kind of believed for a while now. I've argued that if you go and publish your game off of your platform, like on PC, yes, that is no longer an exclusive. You're giving the player choice in which they want to play. We've seen massive surge in PC gaming, and in fact, launching a game like Helldivers 2 on PC day and date, you end up getting a wider reach. Now, ultimately, this also would apply to Xbox as well. That's kind of why I understand the frustration drama, but as a small team, it does take extra time to release on various different platforms. This can all be solved with a check by Microsoft. We'll have to wait and see if they take the bait on all of that. Now, I bring this up because the other aspect of it is that, yes, game costs have gone up. You can see that clearly with Sony, with Spider-Man. It would not surprise me if we do see like maybe the PS4 version, it would obviously be the upgraded PS5 version, make its way to Xbox as an experiment to see, kind of testing the waters. Is there going to be a mass reaction? I think essentially if anybody's frustrated by all of this, it's just going to be the diehard, in a way, diehard platform fanboy who really just, in a way, wants that reason to buy their system and console. Now, for me, I'm very fortunate. Literally have all the systems. I got kids running around out the door. I have all the systems. I'm very fortunate in that regards. I got the Steam Deck. I got all these devices. I'm going to be picking up the Xbox ROG, Ally later this year, hopefully, which is going to go on sale. And it's going to be pricey, but that's something that I am very passionate about, especially because then I can play a lot of different games. I'm very interested in what Microsoft's doing. And if Sony does follow suit, there will be kind of this mass whaling. We're seeing the start of it with games as a service games like Helldivers 2. I think that's a smart move. I do think that this in and of itself does point to kind of a different kind of future, one that Thomas is hinting at, and one that when you look at the pure numbers, I don't think it's about selling consoles. The risk in and of itself is too great. I can't think of a reason why I would want like a PS6, for example, if it only just plays PlayStation games. With the next Xbox, however, playing Steam, Epic, all that, that's the value. That's the value proposition that I'm all in on. Now, as a final bit of news before we wrap up the video with a couple of thoughts, Thomas says, ladies and gentlemen, after 15 years of our studio's existence, we now have official website, moongamestudios.com. This should make it a lot easier for people to apply to jobs, and we're used to keeping players updated on what we're doing. Alongside the live stream, they've also updated their Steam, page. Moon Studios making moves. I think a lot of this is going to be very positive. And obviously, I think, and I can understand the frustration with gamers, especially as we wait for the co-op update, the Sanctuary, the combat, the jobs, all of that. Like, this game is firing on all cylinders, and I'm all in on it. Anyway, I just want to say again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, especially to the 42 new subscribers. Now, the numbers are going to be a little bit low. This is a lull period for No Rest for the Wicked, and I have been extremely busy. It's one of the reasons why I've been able to hyper focus in on just this one game. But like with my video about PlayStation, it was really fun to sit down and talk to you guys directly, and I want to see if I can't start spinning up a little bit more content talking about what is going on in the gaming space, whether that's news, maybe even touch on a little bit of the drama stuff. I'd like to talk to you guys about pirate software. That whole thing really blows my mind to see where that goes. If you're interested in that kind of content, be sure to either have that notification bell or be in the Discord, which is in the top link. It will get you over to the Discord, which is completely free to join. That way you never miss kind of a post. And I know that will help out because the YouTube algorithm generally sometimes likes to step on my face from time to time. Also, before we wrap up, I do want to say thank you so much to Yamron, Lord, Kaz, and Spiritfire for being members here at the channel. It really does help support the content and help support my editor. For those who don't know, I don't make any money off of the content that I make. It all really goes to the editor right now. And if that, hopefully, I'd like to pay him more, because Jack, you do a great job, guys. And Jack is the reason why, especially during my insanely busy season that I just kind of came out of. And hopefully we're not going to start another insanely busy season, but time will be obviously the judge there. He's the reason why content's been able to keep rocking and rolling. Obviously, I'm filming this during the day. Obviously, the kids are all awake. Usually content creation happens early in the morning, but this is something that I wanted to try out and really kind of get y'all's thoughts. I really do hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much if you stuck all the way at the end of this video. If you want to support and you don't want to do it financially, check out the Gaming Roundtable podcast. That's the third link in the description. I'd love to see you over there. We're live Friday at noon Central, 1 Eastern. And this week we actually have Jess Corden coming on. We're going to be talking about all this gaming news and massive shifts and speculation. It's going to be a fun show, and I really appreciate it. And so thank you guys so much if you do check it out. And if you don't worry about it either way. Thanks just for being here. And hopefully you have a wonderful week, and hopefully I'll see you next time. But until then, take care.
Steal this song. They took my moonlight sketches, turned them into